All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. It is 2 p.m. and this is the is the court. I'm sorry, is courtroom 2 on? There they are. Thank you. This is the state expedited accusations calendar in the state court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams, and today is July 27th of 2023. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at this proceeding today. Participants, this particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this. This particular proceeding is for those cases that have been recently accused by the Solicitor General and bound over to state court. Have all members of the public defender's office or private attorneys had the opportunity to conduct their interviews?
Yes, Your
All
Honor.
right, wonderful. All right, and I see Ms. Kim has requested a waiver for Reed. So let's commence with the remainder of the calendar. All right.
Your
Who do we
Honor,
Yes.
good afternoon. I
Good
haven't had
afternoon.
an opportunity to speak with my client yet. I understand he's in medical, so there's going to be a breakout room, but I haven't spoken to him yet.
Okay. Will the jail please let me know when that breakout iPhone comes on so that Ms. McLeod can go forward and speak to her client, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And
I
you're
appreciate that. Yes.
on position 2, that was supposed to be a plea. I have not received the plea paperwork back yet. So it's just going to require if courtroom 2 could send that back to me so I could send it to Ms. Bridgewater.
I didn't hear that announcement at courtroom 2. What was that announcement?
Position 2.
No, not you, Ms. Falk. Someone was
My
responding.
apologies.
I think someone was responding back to you. Was there a response to Ms. Falk's request for the paperwork?
No, ma'am, we was talking to an inmate.
Oh, okay. All right. That seems more appropriate. All right. As soon as we have that paperwork, we please send to Ms. Falk.
Your Honor, I was told that he declined to take the plea.
Okay. So that's fine. We'll go forward and do something else then.
Ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Let's take all the breakouts at the end, please. Who's first, please?
Your Honor, before we get started, the reset date for the SAP calendar is August the 10th.
Thank you. So those who receive a surety or cash bond today will be reset August 10th. Those who receive a signature bond will be reset further notice. Thank you so much, Ms. Bridgewater, for that reminder. All right. Who do we have first?
Position 1, Mr. Allen.
All right, Mr. Allen, your case is 23 CR 004627F. You understand your rights today?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history, please?
Third adult arrest. Last was 2020 for battery out of California. Battery on the spouse. 2015 sale of marijuana dismissed.
Okay, thank you. No other thefts.
Ma'am, sit down.
Not that I saw.
Please, everyone at courtroom 2, please pay attention and listen so that we can get through this today. All right, Ms. Bickerstaff, please proceed.
Yes, good afternoon, Judge. How are you?
Well, please proceed.
So this incident occurred June 29th of this year at 1507 Wren Ridge Drive. And this is where Mr. Quentin Peppers informed officers that he saw the property maintenance man, the defendant, riding a golf cart with his belongings on that golf cart. And so when Mr. Peppers approached the defendant about his things, the defendant told Mr. Peppers that he had a work order to change the locks, and he assumed that the unit tenants were evicted. And so the defendant took a laptop, a blender, and an air fryer. The defendant told officers that he didn't know anybody lived in the unit, and he stated that he only took a blender, laptop, and an air fryer. Our office was able to speak to Mr. Peppers today. He confirmed the events in the warrant, and he stated that the defendant returned his items back when he was confronted about them. He stated that Mr. Peppers let us know that he is still living in that apartment. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with Mr. Peppers, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay. Before I do that, is Ms. Wills, would a phone call to the jail be sufficient as opposed to a breakout so we could keep going?
Yes, I could do that, Your Honor.
Okay, so what's the phone number? Do you have the phone number, Ms. Wills?
I believe I do.
Can we just, to confirm, have the phone number? Okay. All right, thank you.
And Your Honor, Mr. Pepper said that he would not be on Zoom today, but just in case he changed his mind, I'd like to sound.
Yeah, I'm gonna sound. Is Mr. Peppers present on the Zoom conference and wishes to make a statement? Okay, hearing and seeing none. I'm sorry, and I'm just making sure, Ms. Wills, did you get that phone number so we can keep moving? Ms. Kim, I'm assuming you do not have any objection to the signature bond. I intend to send it through the jail.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. He's to have no further contact with Mr. Peppers. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. Can we
was-
move to the next case, please?
What was that bond, Your Honor?
3,000 SOB through the jail. All right. Who do we have next?
Position 3, Mr. Griggs.
I believe that is for Miss Wills, so.
Okay. Can we do
I'm
another?
still here. I've not,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Wills.
I just want to confirm which number to call in the courtroom so I can speak with Mr. Amperfor.
22391. 22391.
22391. Okay. That is the number I called, but no one answered, but I'll call after this case.
Okay.
All right, and this is Mr. Griggs, position 3. Mr. Griggs, your case is 23 CR 004623E. You're charged with criminal trespass and damage to property. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
53 total. Last was back in May, probation. Let me get the probation for you. He's on probation, sale of cocaine, ag assault, family violence, robbery by force, possession of a firearm by convicted felon, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. And he got a couple of FTAs in his history.
Okay, understood. Thank you. All right, Ms. Bickerstaff, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. So yesterday at the East Point Police Department at 2727 East Point Street, officers observed the defendant in a restricted area. And when they asked the defendant, why was he there? The defendant responded, I'm high and I broke the window of a Chevy Suburban in the parking lot. And because I want to go to jail, or no, because I want to get arrested. The truck belonged to a Miss Casey Green, Your Honor. We weren't able to speak to Miss Green. Our victim advocate let us know that she might be deceased. But for all of these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services to stay away from 2727 East Point Street, the police department's restricted areas, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And we're also requesting that the defendant meet with a social worker prior to being released.
Okay. Ms. Wills, I'm assuming you don't object to those requirements?
No objection, but in speaking with Mr. Griggs, I didn't discern any need for a mental health evaluation. He explained the situation to me very clearly and lucidly. And so I don't have any concerns for his mental health, and he also has housing.
Okay, I'm still gonna order the BH at this time, but otherwise, defendant will receive a 3,000, no, wait a minute. It's only one charge. He's gonna receive a $2,000 SOB through the jail. He is to undergo a BH before his release, and he additionally must stay away from that location at 2727 East Point Street. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
No.
Nothing from the defense.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Is there a question at the jail? What's your question?
I was just trying to see what is a BH.
Okay, if you have a question, give Ms. Wills a call. She can explain to you, okay?
All right.
Okay, best of luck to you. Who do we have next?
Position 4.
And is that Ms. Wills' position or is this Ms. Kim?
Miss Kim.
Okay, thank you. This is Mr. Metters I have now. All right, Mr. Metters, your case is 23 CR 004626G. You're charged with battery and family violence with the offense date of July the 26th. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Howard, can I have his history, please?
First,
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred yesterday at 405 Greenhouse Drive in Roswell. And this is where Miss Tiana Irby, Tiana is spelled Teana, Irby, advised officers that she and the defendant were in an argument over the defendant going through her cell phone. And so when Miss Irby grabbed her phone back from the defendant, he elbowed her in the stomach. And that's when the two started tussling. Miss Irby also told officers that she took the defendant's phone and threw it outside in an effort to get the defendant out of the residence, but he didn't leave. Officers noted that the defendant appeared to be intoxicated, and that the defendant advised that Miss Irby approached him and knocked him out of the chair, but officers did not know any injuries to the defendant. However, officers noted that Miss Irby that her leg and forearm had a cut on there, and that she was bleeding from her leg. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Miss Irby, to stay away from 405 Greenhouse Drive in Roswell, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, is Miss Irby present and wishes to make a statement? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Metters, is 32 years old. He was born and raised in Alabama. However, he has been here in Georgia for the last 2 years, and this is his permanent residency now. And Your Honor, he has worked at ITW as an industrial maintenance worker. He also has associated degree, and he's not going to be qualified for public defender services, Your Honor. My client denies the allegation, and he has no objection to stay away nor no further contact, as they broke up and she is ex-girlfriend. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond since he has no criminal history whatsoever. This is his first ever. So we would like to request for a signature on bond. Thank you.
All right. Defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. He's to take the 1-day anger awareness course, have no contact with Ms. Irby, and stay away from the address on Greenhouse Drive. Should he need to get any items from there, he can return one time with law enforcement. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing for the defense.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Metters. That concludes your case. Who do we have next?
Position 9, Mr. Rogers.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Rogers. Please come quickly.
This is a case that I asked for a breakout room for.
Okay, so can we take another position, please? Perhaps one that belongs to Ms. McLeod.
Ma'am, y'all gotta hold it down.
He's upstairs. We have to get.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Is Ms. Wills still on the line, or does Ms. Kim has remaining cases, I'm hoping.
Yes.
All right. Who's next?
Tavera.
Okay,
Position 10.
All right, Mrs. Tavera, your case is 23 CR 004624Y. In this case, you're charged with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the third degree. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history too?
This is third, everything DUI related.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bickerstaff.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred June 23rd of this year at 1950 Fisher Road. And this is where Miss Anais Pereza, the defendant's wife, told officers that her and her husband defendant were arguing, and that the defendant told her that he was going to get a divorce. And when she was dismissive of his threat to divorce her, the defendant became angry. And so then the defendant grabbed Miss Pereza and smacked her in the mouth. Officers noted redness and a small laceration due to her braces from the defendant hitting her. The couple's 3-year-old daughter, AP, witnessed this attack. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond, $3,000 for the battery, $1,000 for the cruelty to children, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Ms. Pereza, and to stay away from 1950 Fisher Road, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. I would like to sound for Ms. Pereza, although I don't believe she's on Zoom.
Okay. Ms. Pereza, if you're present, this is your opportunity to make a statement if you wish to do so. All right, Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, are you there? We were going along so smoothly. All right. Well, we will hold for Ms. Kim for a moment.
I'll also reach out to her. She might be having some internet issues.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wills. Okay.
I see her.
All right, there you are, Ms. Kim. Can you hear us, Ms. Kim?
Yes, I do.
All
I
right.
apologize. I
That's
couldn't
all
hear
right. Please,
anything.
that's okay. These things happen. Please proceed.
My client, Mr. Tavera, is actually 26 years old, and he was born in Oklahoma. So he's a U.S. citizen. He has been here in Georgia for about 18 years. He's the one who actually left premises on June 23, 2023. And he's the one who left the relationship because he found out that his wife from Venezuela was marrying her only for a green card, and that was really hurtful to my client. Your Honor, he has been working as a construction worker at General Construction for 9 years, and he does make enough money, so he's not going to be qualified for public defender services. There has been a story has been kind of twisted very bad. My client was defending himself from a lady who had a knife to make a scene out of something that he was trying to avoid. Your Honor, we would like to request for signature on bond. He has no violent histories, and Your Honor, it is very, very sad to say that, but his wife who wants a green card, she's trying to use a system for violent victim of domestic violence victim. She wants to be that one because then if she gets divorced, she will still apply for a green card without the sponsorship from the husband when she becomes a victim of the domestic violence. And my client did not lay any hand on her, and he has a proof that he can prove that he was innocent. We would like to request for signature on bond. Thanks.
All right. At this time, the defendant is going to receive a $4,000 SLV through pretrial per judge, broken down $3,000 count one, 1,000, count 2. He's going to take the 1-day anger awareness course, have no contact with the alleged victim, and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Excuse me,
Alright.
Your Honor, did you say that's a total of 3,000 or?
It should be total of 4, 3,000, count
Okay,
1,000,
gotcha.
count 2.
Thank you.
Thank you for checking my math. I'm terrible at it. Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case. Who do we have next?
Position 6, Miss Mosley. Right here.
All right, Ms. Mosley, your case is 23 CR 004632F. You're charged with criminal trespass. You understand your rights?
Your Honor, I sincerely apologize, but this is the one that I also wanted to have
A
breakout
breakout.
room. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Excuse me, you might wanna go ahead and do the breakout, cause she's trying to get up and leave, and we're not, she's a wonder,
Okay.
trying to wander away, so you might wanna do your breakout session there, because I can't keep holding her down.
Can I just ask her if she can waive her appearance? Then I can represent her.
We can go to the breakout. Let's just
Okay.
do that. Let's
Yes.
just do. But then we're
Sure.
gonna be going back and forth in breakout, but that's what it is today. All right, if we can
Thank
go
you.
into the breakout room as it pertains to Ms. Mosley, I have that this is her first arrest.
Yes.
So if I could be placed in the breakout with Ms. Falk, Ms. Kim, are there other parties that need to attend? Okay. All right. In light of the information before me, Ms. Mosley is going to receive $1,000 SOB per judge through pretrial services. She is to stay away from Grady Hospital unless actively seeking services there. Additionally, she needs to undergo a BHET but not necessarily before her release. She is to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
How much was that?
1,000. All right, that concludes Ms. Mosley's case. She should be free to move about. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, who do we have next?
Position 5, Mr. Mitchell.
All right,
Mr. Mitchell is, P.D. Wills. Okay, she's.
all right. Mr. Mitchell, your case is 23 CR 004633E. You're charged with battery, family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Howard, can I have your history, please?
22 total. Last was on the 20th of this month. Driving without a valid license, on probation, ag battery. That's a 2013 case. They gave him 13 years probation for that. 2011 simple battery DV conviction, and a 2011 probation violation.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Falk?
My apologies, Your Honor, just realized I was muted. All right, this incident happened on May 18th, 2023 at 2145 Nelms Drive, Southwest Atlanta. Officers responded to that address in reference to IM, 11 years of age, calling the police. IM stated that her mother, Amelia James, was being physically assaulted by the defendant, her father. IM also stated that her mother pepper sprayed her father to stop the attack. The defendant and Miss James have 3 children together. The defendant struck Miss James on her body, and officers did observe bruising and a scratch to the left side of her face. We have had an opportunity to speak with Miss James. This is the defendant's second case. He had a previous case that he was booked in on July 20th, where he received a $1,500 surety bond. This warrant apparently did not make it on that calendar, and we just became aware of it yesterday. For that reason, the state does not have an option but to recommend a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with Amelia James, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and stay away from 2145 Nelms Drive.
All right, I agree that the signature bond is appropriate in this case. I am going to sound for Ms. James, though, on the off chance that she is here today. Ms. James, are you present and wish to make a statement? All right, Ms. Wills, I'm assuming you don't object to the signature bond through pretrial per judge. However, if you'd like to put something else onto the record, this is your opportunity to do so.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, my client would like to continue to have contact with Ms. James. I also did attempt to reach out to her. However, her number, or the number that was provided, was disconnected. He does deny the allegations, and my client has been incarcerated for 7 days at this point. As it was stated, he does share 3 children with Ms. James, and they do reside together. If Your Honor is not so inclined to allow them to have contact, I would request a one-time law enforcement escort for him to get his belongings, as well as third-party transfer of the children.
And Your Honor, just to place on the record, the previous bond had no further violent contact, but we are requesting no further contact now that we've become aware of a subsequent incident that happened 6 months after the incident on October 21st, 2022.
All right, had Ms. James come and made a statement, I would have considered a no further violent contact. She's not here, so. All right, at this time, defendant will receive a $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. He is to have no contact with Ms. James and stay away from the incident location. He can return one time with a member of law enforcement, and he can coordinate transport of his children by contacting a third party. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. And I did say 1 day anger awareness. I am going to require he take that course. Is there anything further?
Sure.
Nothing from the defense. Thank you.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Mitchell. That concludes your case at this time. All right. Next position, please.
11, Mr. White, James White.
All right, Mr. White, and I believe I saw Miss White earlier. All right, Mr. White, your case is 23 CR 004629D. You're charged with simple battery family violence with the offense date of April the 4th of this year. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history, please?
Second arrest, 2009 battery DV, not prosecuted.
All right, thank you. Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred April 4th of this year at 6981 Talkeetna Court. And this is where officers spoke with the defendant's ex-wife, Miss Tara Kitchen, and she informed officers that she had been in a dispute with her son and the defendant's 18-year-old son, Mr. James Wright Jr. The argument stemmed from the mom taking Junior's phone because he was being disrespectful and Junior's girlfriend was being disrespectful towards his mother. And so Miss Kitchen called the defendant, Junior's dad, to talk to their son. And when he arrived at the location to speak with his son, the conversation turned physical. Junior advised officers that the defendant punched him several times and attempted to choke him. Junior also advised that he pushed the defendant down the stairs during the altercation, causing the banister to break. Officers did not note any injuries on Junior. And because the defendant is, this was a dispute between father and son, the defendant is 59 years old and the state believes this is a low risk of reoffense. The state's recommendation is a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Mr. James Wright Jr., as well as to stay away from the incident location and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, is Mr. White present? Mr. White Jr., is he present?
My son, this is Miss White. I'm the ex-wife. He's in the military.
Okay.
And I have a letter, excuse me, Your Honor, I have a written letter from my son. He is stationed at Fort Lee. My son was we were trying to get him to graduate high school.
Okay, understood. But if your son was here, I will hear a statement. I am gonna
I have the letter here. I can share my screen.
Right, no, that won't be necessary today. Since your son is in the military, I don't believe that there will be a problem with no contact at this time. All right.
And he doesn't want that. He loves his father. He doesn't want no contact.
Okay, thank you. All right, understood. Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is actually 49 years old. Your Honor, he was just basically disciplining his son, and I believe that no further violent contact is better for their relationship to get better. And yet, we have no objection to no further contact, stay away from their location. We have no objection to a signature on bond either. Thanks.
All right. Defendant will receive a $5,000 SOB per judge through pretrial services. He is to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no further violent contact with Mr. James White Jr. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Ms. White, if you would like some clarification regarding what I did, I'm sure Ms. Kim will assist you. All right.
Yes,
Best
I
of
do
luck.
need clarification. Mhm.
All right. Best of luck to all parties concerned. Thank you. All right. Who do we have next?
Position 12, Mr. Williams.
All right, Mr. Williams, your case is 23 CR 004628B. In this case, you're charged with battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the third. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes.
All right. What is his history, Mr. Howard?
2020 was the last for driving without a valid license. 2014, theft by taking, and possession of tools conviction.
That was 2014 as well?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Bickerstaff, please proceed.
So this incident occurred yesterday at 1004 Fern Avenue. And this is where officers spoke with Miss Jamia, Jamia Stribling, Stribling. Officers spoke with Ms. Stribling, who told them that the defendant came home drunk and he began yelling and cursing at her.
Okay, hold 1 second. Ms. White, I gave him a $5,000 signature bond. I think you can log off. I'm letting him out of the jail, signing his own bond, okay? Please don't put anything else into the chat, okay? All right, thank you. Please continue, Ms. Bickerstaff.
Yes, Your Honor. So,
I made to mess you up. Please continue.
no, it's fine. It's fine. So the defendant came home and he was yelling and cursing at Miss Stribling because the kids were watching TV. And so when Miss Stribling told him to stop, he became more irate. And so Miss Stribling also advised that the defendant then got on top of her while she was laying in bed with the children. And then he punched her in the face, and then he put his hands around her neck. And while all of this was happening, minors SS and HS were witnessing the attack, and they were screaming and crying, and SS called the police, and that's when the defendant stopped attacking Miss Stribling. Officers noted that Miss Stribling had bruising, swelling, and redness to her face because of the attack. And so for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond, $3,000 for the battery, and $1,000 each for both of the cruelty to children charges, 1 day anger awareness course, no further contact with Miss Stribling, as well as to stay away from the incident location, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. I don't believe Miss Stribling's on Zoom, but if she is, I'd like to sound for her.
All right, Ms. Stribling, are you present and wish to make a statement? All right, hearing none, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 40 years old. The place 1004 Fern Avenue is actually my client's brother's place. So he and his father and his auntie live together in that place. And Miss Jamia is the one who is actually staying with him at his place. She actually had multiple seizures, and my client was actually helping and taking care of her. So my client denies allegations, and he believes that those scratches were from when there was a seizures episode. We would like to request for signature on bond since there was no previous violence history, I believe, and my client is not employed at this point, so he is trying to start his new business to do breeding dogs. He graduated from high school, and he does have some serious chronic disease that he needs to take care of. So we would like for him to get out of the jail and take care of his medical needs. Signature bond would be great. And yet, if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we ask for $1,000 good bond and signature on bond for cruelty to children, 3rd degree. Thank you.
All right, defendant's gonna receive a $1,500 surety bond, 1,000 count 1, 250 count 2, 250 count 3. He's to have no contact with Miss Stribling. And I'm sorry, Miss Kim, you said he had an address that's not that Fern Avenue?
It is actually, that's his place. So he needs to have a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his belonging, and that after Miss Jamia is evicted, he can return home.
All right, so he's gonna receive, he'll have a one-time law enforcement escort to ascertain whether the victim is there. If the victim is there, he may collect his belongings and stay away. If she is not, he can return to that location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything further?
Nothing from the state. But Your Honor, may you please repeat the bond amount?
It should be a total of 1,500. So 1,000 for count 1 and 250 for each of the remaining counts.
Thank you.
All right, who do we have next?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, position. Ms. Kim, could you?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Could you call the courtroom?
Sure. I'll be happy to.
223 Nine,
Yes.
Mr. Yu.
Oh, Mr. Yu,
Uh-huh.
I already, oh yeah, we didn't have an interview. I thought we needed to have a, okay, thank you.
You
I'll-
speak
I'll-
English.
Sure.
Uh-huh. We have position 2 and 9. You said they the breakout, right?
All right, are those the only positions remaining?
We have Officer Norris. He's upstairs. He's gonna log on in a few seconds.
Position 2 is in a breakout.
No, I do not need a breakout. I already spoke with my client.
Oh, okay.
I just need to interview him. Yeah.
Position 2.
All right. All right, Mr. Amperfull, your case is 23 CR 004625E. You're charged with possession and obstruction. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history, please?
This is fourth arrest. Last was 2022. Robbery, battery, DV, obstruction, or hindering person from making an emergency call. Crew 10 the third. That's open. 2012 shoplifting, first offense. That's it.
Okay. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened July 16th, 2022. Officers responded to a woman vending food at 382 Edgewood Avenue. While they were out there, they observed a group of males, including the defendant, smoking a marijuana cigarette. The officers made contact with them. There were 3 males in total, Mr. Zarek Hampton, Shafiq Fletcher, and the defendant. Upon checking their information, it showed that Mr. Hampton and Mr. Fletcher had warrants, and so they were attempting to take them into custody when Mr. Fletcher then turned away from the officer and fled west on Edgewood. Officers went in pursuit of him. At that point, the defendant then fled east on Edgewood, causing, everyone have to split up and try to chase these individuals down. They were able to detain Mr. Hampton, but were not able to detain the defendant. The state's recommendation on this, and we do have some concerns about the fact that there have been subsequent cases, is my understanding, after this occurred. And pretrial, if you could just confirm that. I believe you said there was a robbery case. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so there has been subsequent cases after that. We are asking for $1,000 surety bond on the obstruction, a $1,000 signature bond on possession of marijuana, for a total of a $2,000 split bond. And we would ask for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We're not requesting a stay away or a no further contact from anyone. We would, however, ask that, we actually would ask that the defendant have no further contact with Zarek Hampton or Shafiq Fletcher, and I can put those in the chat for the litigation manager.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wells?
And I just want to be clear, because I spoke with Mr. Amperfull, that the proposed agreement or plea agreement, if he had accepted the plea, would have included a no pros of the possession charge.
That is correct, but the defendant rejected the plea agreement, so we're going forward.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear for my client. My client is 30 years old. He is a native of Georgia. He is employed by Next Level Movers as well as One Level Movers. He will qualify to be represented by the Public Defender's Office, as he has 5 children that he financially supports that also reside in the home with him. He does deny the allegations as alleged. He has a very limited criminal history. And I know that the robbery that was mentioned from 2022, I believe that is just an accusation at this point, not a conviction. And so for all of those reasons, I would request a signature bond.
All right, defendant will receive a $2,000 SOB through the jail. He's to have no contact with any of the cross defendants and stay away from that location. Is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, that's the
And Your Honor, you want him to stay away from Edgewood Avenue?
Yes. What was the address?
The exact address was 382.
All right, so he needs to stay away from that location. All right, best of luck to you, sir.
Judge, is that $1,000 on each one?
It is. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. I see that 3 South has logged on.
Your Honor, can we put 3 South and Ms. McLeod in a breakout, please?
Yes, that would be great. If we could do that, please.
And Your Honor, I just wanted to put on the record that the recommendation against Mr. M. Porfel is withdrawn.
All right, I'm sure I don't think he heard that, but
Oh,
I'm sorry,
sure
Your
he-
Honor.
I'm sure
Three
he
South needs to be in a breakout room with whom?
Miss McLeod, so
Okay.
she can conduct her interview. All right. Who do we have? Can we take any other positions?
Friday. Your Honor, we have Ricardo Rogan. He was on a pool sheet, but he's not on the calendar, and I was wondering what we're gonna do with him.
Ms. Falk, was that case upgraded or is there some other announcement?
so we're in the process of attempting to upgrade that. We've reached back out to the DA's office with additional information that we did not have at the time that we reached out to them this morning. So yes, that we are attempting to have that case upgraded by the DA's office due to the timing of the charge that the defendant received.
All right, so it appears he'll be taking that felony first appearance and not at this calendar.
We are trying to move forward to felony first appearance. If that is not possible by tomorrow, I will have an update at that point. We would like to inquire about Mr. Palmer's case. Position 7.
Was that one of the requested breakouts? Maybe not.
I don't recall. I recall it being 9, but I just wanted to check because the state's ready on that.
Or any other position that we could take.
And also there's.
I don't think so, Your Honor.
Because, you know,
Kim
my
is on the
wife
phone.
keep neglecting my daughter, I need my dad's help.
Miss
And I work hard.
McLeod is on the breakout session.
I'm sorry, we can't hear.
I said, I don't think so. Miss McLeod is on the breakout session and Miss
Well,
Kim is on the phone.
I
with her
graduated.
Okay, let's go ahead and go into the breakout for the requested position. Ms. Kim, what position did you request the breakout again? Position 9?
Some sort of.
Yes, Your Honor, I requested it for position.
Oh,
9.
you requested it. Let's go ahead and go into the breakout. Is Mr. Rogers there at courtroom 2?
I've been working in the United States.
Your Honor, I believe the officer stated that Ms. Kim is on the phone. I think she's speaking with Mr. Yu.
Oh, and she's speaking. Okay. I keep trying to forge ahead and I'm thwarted at every turn.
And Palmer is also a conflict.
Right, we're waiting for Ms. McLeod. Well, there's nothing we can do. We try.
Never really have a job. I've had on some side job.
Can we mute courtroom 2? Thank you.
Were you waiting on me? I stepped away.
Unfortunately, no. Miss Champion, if it cannot be placed in a breakout with you, Miss Champion and Miss Bridgewater. Just for a quick moment.
Excuse me, Judge.
No. Everyone hold. Okay. Can I be placed in a breakout with Miss Champion, Miss Bridgewater, please? All right, Ms. McLeod has returned. Can we take your case, Ms. McLeod? Are you ready?
I am ready, Your Honor.
All right, and is your client present from 3 South?
Yes, Your Honor.
All
I
right,
just
then.
spoke to them.
All right, and who was your client, Ms. McLeod?
David Palmer, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Palmer, your case is 23 CR 004631H. In this case, you're charged with making with unlawful conduct during a 911 call or otherwise making a false report with the offense date of July the 25th. You have an absolute right to remain. No. You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney today, and Ms. McLeod is present on Zoom to represent you. I'm conducting this proceeding over the internet. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this. Do you understand your rights and how I'm conducting this hearing today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have you to please?
11 total. Last arrest was a parole violation, 2020. He got an open battery out of Vegas. Appears to be open. 2020 battery DV conviction. I stopped there.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on July 25th, 2023. Officers were dispatched to a suspicious package at ACDC at 254 Peachtree Street. A sweep did not locate any suspicious packages, but they had received a call as to a bomb that was located at that location. The defendant, who was identified, called a second time 12 minutes after the first call, advised that again that there was a bomb at that location. Another sweep was done and no devices were found. When dispatch was then asked to get further information, the defendant was being uncooperative and hung up on the dispatch during questioning. The defendant was ID'd as David Palmer, and he had called David dispatch earlier that day stating there was a bomb at Firehouse Subs at 537 10th Street Southwest where a sweep was done and nothing was found. The defendant had called earlier, according to the employees at Firehouse Subs, looking for somebody named Takara, aka TT, but the employee stated she did not know who he was talking about. The defendant then told her he would call the police and make a fake bomb threat. The defendant apparently is the husband of Lenona Palmer, who's currently being held at ACDC, which we believe is why the calls were being made specifically regarding that location. The officers did go to the defendant's residence, called the same number, advised the defendant they were outside. The defendant refused to come outside and stated he had multiple guns, and if the investigator knocked on the door, he'd begin shooting. The defendant then called the investigator multiple times back and called 911 from a different phone while he was on the phone with the investigator and told the 911 that he had been shot at his residence. When 911 tried to get more information, the defendant ended the call. The defendant then called 911 again and stated there was a suspicious person outside ACDC. So in total, there was approximately 4 or 5 different calls being made. The state does have some serious concerns here based on the history of violence, family of violence, battery, as well as the fact that the defendant has charges outside of the state of Georgia, which give us concern for his ties to the community. We are requesting a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with 911 unless it's for legitimate emergencies, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We also will be referring this to the DA's office after today for further review.
All right, thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 42 years old. He tells me that he's the father of 6 children. 2 minor children live with him and his wife at this time. He tells me that both his wife and his brother were arrested, and he was very distraught because he's a paraplegic. And, it's very difficult for him. So he was just calling to try to get some information on what was happening with his wife, Your Honor. I understand that my client does have some criminal history. But given the nature of what he's charged with, I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond, given the circumstances. He was there without his spouse. He really is a paraplegic, so it's difficult for him to be able to do a lot of things, Your Honor. And he doesn't work because of his disability, so he has no money to pay bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond. He's not to call 911 without a valid reason. Additionally, he's had no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that surety bond. And his case will be reset to the August 8th state all-purpose calendar, whereby this bond can be revisited. Is there anything further?
Judge, that will be August 10th.
I'm sorry, August 10th. I don't know where I got the 8th.
It was
All right.
yesterday, August 8th.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business.
I have
for
a
the
question, ma'am.
today.
What does the surety bond, what does that exactly mean?
Okay, give Ms. McLeod a call, or perhaps we can let you go back into a breakout and she can explain. Ms. McLeod, was that your only case? I thought you had
That's
one
not on the
other.
case, Your Honor.
You didn't have one other person on today's calendar?
No,
No?
Your Honor. No,
Okay.
that was the other
Before
one.
we go, will you speak to Mr. Palmer, please?
Oh, I'm
Ms.
happy to
McLeod?
speak with him, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Champion, will you put them in a breakout session? And after that, 3 South can be excused. All right, who do we have next?
Position 13, Mr. Yu.
Yes.
All right, I was advised Mr. Yu is gonna require an interpreter. Ms. Champion, are we gonna be able to get that interpretation today? Or will this case need to be reset to tomorrow?
Your Honor, my client does not need a translator. Actually, it was for his alleged victim or complaining witness that we were asking for Chinese interpreter.
I can put in a request, but I doubt if we have one before court ends because this is like
Yeah, it's the final moment, I understand.
but I can send a request to,
Do we have any other positions we can, let's do, Ms. Champion, I am gonna ask you to try.
okay.
Because
And
I'd
it's
like to.
it's a
Is the
Chinese
victim
interpreter?
present? Yeah, hold on, before I do that, the victim is present today and wishes to make a statement. What's the name of the victim, Ms. Falk?
Your Honor, just a moment. I'm receiving information that the victim does in fact speak English. Let me, the father-in-law speaks Chinese, but the victim in this case speaks English.
Okay, and what is the victim's name? Let's sound and clarify that, because I don't want Ms. Champion to spin her wheels trying to get.
Leslie Yu is the name of our victim.
Okay, Ms. Yu, do you speak English? And are you present? Do you wish to make a statement today?
Yes, I am present. And yes, I do speak English. And yes, I do make a statement.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna proceed with this position without interpretation. All right, Mr. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Falk.
So sorry to interrupt, Your Honor, but there is a simple battery against the father-in-law. It's count 3 of the accusation, and he does not speak English.
Is the father-in-law present today and wishes to make a statement?
Yes, he is with me. He does wish to make a statement.
Okay, we're gonna have to try to get the interpretation.
Okay.
And that's Chinese interpretation?
Yes.
Okay, I'll email Ms. Cook and see if we can get an interpreter.
Okay, let's do the breakout case and see what we can do. If not, we're gonna have to think about the best course of action.
And who all needs to be in the breakout room, Your Honor?
I'm sorry, Ms. Bickerstaff requested it for position. We're gonna do both breakout cases, position 8 and position 9. So that when we come back, we're just gonna do 13. So I believe almost everyone is gonna have to come. Ms. Bickerstaff, Ms. Falk, Ms. Kim. Is Ms. Wills, does Ms. Wills need to be in attendance?
No, unless you want me in there, but neither in my case, Your Honor.
All right, so that's fine. So now everyone but Ms. Wills. All right, we're first gonna take, we're gonna do the waive case last. I've spoken with counsel regarding positions 8 and 9. We're now gonna take the case of position 13, Mr. Yu. Mr. Yu, your case is 23 CR 004630G. In this case, you're charged with simple battery, family violence, and 2 counts of simple battery. Do you understand your rights today?
I think this is a very false argument.
No, but do you understand your rights today? And
Yes,
do you require an interpreter?
I don't need an interpreter. I can speak English fluently.
Okay, and your rights, you understand that you have a right to remain silent, you have a right to an attorney today?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, thank you. This is first arrest, so we'll go to Ms. Falk.
Well, Your Honor, this is my case.
I'm sorry, Ms. Bickerstaff.
No problem.
Please proceed.
This incident occurred yesterday at 4645 Valerie Court, Unit 16. And this is where the defendant grabbed his wife, Leslie Yu's legs in an attempt to remove their child away from her. The defendant also pushed Miss Hillary Escate to the ground and causing her to hit her head. And the defendant also picked up his father, Mr. Hai-Yi Yu, and threw him on the bed. Our office was able to speak with Miss Leslie Yu, and she let us know that she's the defendant's wife and they do not currently live together. The incident location is the defendant's dad's, Mr. Hai-Yi Yu's house, and the victim's mother, Miss Hilaria Escate, she also lives at that residence. And Ms. Yu shared with us that she is very afraid of the defendant, and she stated that this is the first time that the defendant has been physically violent with her, but he has been verbally violent with her in the past. She let us know that he is becoming not physically, but progressively more violent with her. She also let us know that the defendant told her that if he loses custody of their child, that he was going to kill her and himself. And she stated that her and her mother do not want any contact with the defendant. However, the defendant's dad, Mr. Yu, has not fully made up his mind regarding contact, Your Honor. Ms. Yu also let us know that she is planning to file a TPO against the defendant. So for all of these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $6,000 surety bond, $2,000 for each of the charges, as well as a one-day anger awareness course, no further contact with any of the 3 victims mentioned, and to stay away from the incident location, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay.
In Your Honor, additionally, we'll be asking, I would like to sound for each of the victims, but I would like to request that this case be continued until an interpreter can be reached out for Mr. Yu, because he's asking he would like to speak on the record, Your Honor, and Marcy law requires that.
Oh, okay. Ms. Leslie Yu, if you would come and turn on your screen, please raise your right hand. Do you swear, Ms. Les, do you swear and affirm that the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. Today I'm not sentencing the defendant. I'm not as concerned with the facts of what happened. My concern and question is whether you wish to have contact with the defendant and whether you have concerns for your safety. With that said, what would you like to tell the court at this time?
I would like to tell the court at this time that I do not want him in jail. I do want him to get help, and I do not want him to contact me or my daughter or my mother at this time until he has received help, like rehab or therapy. And I also would like to say that his father has told me that he does not want his son coming to the house, but he does want to have contact with his son.
Okay. All right. Thank you for making that statement. I'm sorry, what was the name of, is it Miss Hillary Escape? Is Miss Escape present and wishes to make?
No, she's in the hospital right now.
Okay, she's not present. I understand that your
No.
father-in-law wishes to make a statement. We do not have an interpreter present for your father-in-law. Does he understand or speak any English at all?
No.
Okay, give me a moment. All right, Miss,
Yes.
okay, give me 1 second, I'm thinking. All right, this is not ideal. Does the state or defense object at this time to Miss Leslie Yu? Miss Yu, are you fluent in your father-in-law's language? I mean, your in the defendant father-in-law's language?
No, I use Google Translate to communicate with him.
Okay, so we can't even get an informal translation. Miss Kim, you had a dynamic solution?
Your Honor, I do object to Ms. Leslie Yu's translation for
I understand. I am trying to comply with Marcy law and make it such that he does not reside in the Fulton County Jail.
I don't understand any of
And I
this.
do not want to reset him one day for this purpose. Miss Champion, was there any luck at all?
No, ma'am, I didn't get a response from Ms. Cook.
Shall we use Google Translator?
That's what
As
I'm trying to figure out how to use Google Translator over Zoom. Is there a way to do that?
I can use my iPhone and then maybe we can kind of use it.
Okay, Miss Yu, will you pull up your Google Translate and allow your father-in-law to speak into that to make his statement?
Your Honor, my father-in-law's sister wants to know if she can translate for him because she speaks English.
I have no objection.
You say you do object, Ms. Kim?
No, we do not object.
All right, does the state object?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, can the young lady come to the Zoom conference?
Yeah.
All right, please raise your hand, ma'am, and tell me your full name.
Sumeyu.
Your full name?
Sumeyu.
All right, thank you. Do you swear that you will make an accurate translation from English to Chinese, Chinese to English to the best of your skills, knowledge, and ability today?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Will you please translate the state? Now I need to ask, what is his name?
His name is Hai Yu.
Mr. Yu, please raise your right hand.
把右手举起来。
Do you swear that you will tell the whole truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
你发誓你讲的话都是真话，说是不是？如果是的就讲 yes。
Yes.
All right, put your hand down. What would you like to tell me today?
说是的。你想告诉他什么？
我想告诉你的就是，他们夫妻两个人，感情不好了，他们造成这个原因是他们都有一定的责任。
So he want to tell you, they are not in healthy husband and wife relationship, and both parties have their responsibilities.
Your Honor, can we limit our answer to like whether he wants to have a contact or not?
I'm gonna allow it today just because of the complication, Ms. Kim. Ms. Champion also has the closed captions on in Chinese. So hopefully that serves as an adequate translation as well. All right, is there anything else you'd like to tell me, Mr. Yu?
你还想告诉他什么？
我还想告诉我想说的就是说，他们两个人，以后的路不管怎么走，希望他两个都能冷静下来，好好的把这个事情谈妥，为了小孩，把小孩放在第一位，把那个心平气和的在一起好好的谈。
Okay,
He want to tell you, no matter what happened in the future, the kid will be their first priority. They should, for the best interest of the kid. And he wished them to calm down and to resolve the issue peacefully.
Thank you for making that statement, Mr. Yu. All right, Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 33 years old and they are actually trying to divorce. They have been trying to go through the divorce. He has an appointment with his divorce attorney this coming Friday indeed. And my client claims that he has not had any he denies the allegation, literally, Your Honor. He says that his wife, so to speak, is manipulative and she lies. And she does have some MH issues. We do not want to get into any details about that, though. My client wants to have I would like to recommend him for signature on bond. This is his first arrest ever. He is a U.S. citizen. He's been here in Georgia from 2016. He has been working as an electrician, and he's the sole provider financially for himself and his wife and their child, 4-year-old child, and also his wife's mother, who also do not work. His wife has never ever worked for 5 years. So my client is the one who provides everything for everybody. They all live together in his father's property right now. And he has no objection to no further contact. He would like to file for divorce and evict his wife and her mother. And my client wants to have a third-party transfer for his daughter. We would like to request for signature on bond. Thank you.
All right. At this time, defendant is going to receive a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge, $2,000 each count. He is to take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no further contact with any of the victims other than what might be necessary for other legal proceedings. He can arrange transport of his children through a third party. Additionally, he is to stay away from that incident location. He can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Your Honor?
Yes,
I would like
Ms.
to state that he took all his weapons from the house and he took it to his other residence.
Okay, he's to have no weapons as a condition of this bond. All right, so I'm ordering him not to have any weapons. All right, best of luck to all parties concerned. That concludes this case at this time.
Thanks, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Yu, I've already heard from you. I know that you have some concerns. Please reach out to Ms. Kim. All right, who do we have next? Oh, I'm sorry, we're down to the waive cases.
Yes,
We're
Your Honor.
down. All right, so I believe courtroom 2 can be excused. All right, we'll now take up the case of Jay Reed, 23 CR 004621J, in which he's accused of battery with the offense date of July the 26th. Mr. Howard, will you put that history onto the record?
You got over 10 arrests. Last was 2021 obstruction. Got a 2013 failed to return rental property conviction, 2015-16 probation, 2017 assault battery DV conviction, 2011 domestic assault conviction.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred yesterday at 2734 Peachtree Road. And this is where Miss Phoebe Brown, who is 81 years old, told officers that she was going outside to get some air, and an unknown man, the defendant, walked up to her unprovoked and punched her in the jaw, causing her to fall backwards and hit her head on the curb. on the concrete curb. Officers noted that Ms. Brown had a laceration on the back of her head, and they also noted that she was experiencing significant blood loss due to the abrasion on her head, and she also sustained an abrasion on her left forearm. Officers spoke with a Miss Susan Pickens, who was a witness to the attack, and she told officers she was pulling into the parking lot and she saw the defendant punch Miss Brown. Our office was able to speak to Miss Brown, and she let us know that she was just standing outside of her condominium complex talking to her friend when the defendant just came up and punched her. She let us know that she didn't say anything to him prior to him hitting her. She doesn't know him. She's never seen him before prior to this incident. And Ms. Brown let us know that now she's extremely afraid to go outside. She's extremely afraid to leave her home now because of this attack. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $10,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Ms. Brown, to stay away from 2734 Peachtree Road, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, and I am gonna sound for Ms. Brown. Is Ms. Brown present and wishes to make a statement? All right, hearing and seeing none, Ms. Kim, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Reed is 32 years old, and he's been here in Georgia for about 2 months. He was born and raised in Virginia. He has no phone. He has not been able to work. So he is actually qualified for public defender services as of now. And Your Honor, we have no objection to stay away and no further contact. And as long as we have a BHET, we actually would like to keep $4,500 good bond as set. It is already set by another judge, and it does not have to be increased because he's not going anywhere. He has no funds to pay for any bond at this point. Thank you.
Defendant will receive a $5,000 surety bond. He's to undergo a BHET. He is to have no contact with Ms. Brown and stay away from that location on Peachtree Road. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that surety bond, and he'll be reset to the August 10th state all-purpose calendar. All right, we will now take up the next case, 23CR. Is this Mr. Rogers that's sitting there?
Yes, it is, Judge.
All right, Mr. Rogers, your case is 23CR 004622Y. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence with the offense date of January the 17th. Do you understand your rights today? Is that a yes?
They muted.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have history?
Third arrest, 2018, 2014, resisting an officer. That's it.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bickerstaff, please proceed.
Your Honor, this incident occurred on July 17th of this year at 575 Capitol Avenue. And this is where the defendant and Miss Cintelli Strickland, Cintelli is Cintelly, where the defendant and Miss Strickland, the defendant's mother, were leaving the chiropractor's office, and they began discussing a comment that the chiropractor made about the defendant. And the defendant took offense to the comment. And so while they're in the car, the defendant and his mom, Miss Strickland, stopped at an intersection, and that's when the defendant started punching his mom in the face. Miss Strickland told officers that the defendant punched her about 20 times, then jumped out the car and fled the scene. Officers noted that Miss Strickland sustained bruising on her cheeks and her eye. Your Honor, our office was able to speak to Ms. Strickland today, and she completely recanted her statement. She did let us know that she wants contact with her son, but the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond, an ADET, to stay away from their home address of 130 Bell Street. as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if Ms. Strickland is on Zoom, I would like to sound for her.
Ms. Strickland is present. I see her. Ms. Strickland, if you wish to make a statement, please raise your right hand. And turn on your camera.
I don't know how to do it. I need to turn on my camera.
You have to turn on your camera. We have to be able to identify you.
Okay. I'm on.
You are not. We cannot see you.
Oh, okay. It says unable to. Okay, it says I need to go to my settings. Hold on. Oh, goodness. Oh, sure. Somehow I'm not able to leave out of my settings.
You're gonna have to figure it out. Why don't you
Okay.
leave the Zoom conference? We cannot speak to you without seeing you.
Oh, and oh, sure. I don't know how to do it. Yes. I don't know how to get out of here. It just somehow I know if I click out of here, it's not gonna let me back in.
Well, Ms. Strickland, we have to be able to see you.
I know. But if I click over, I won't be able to access back in.
I can't answer that question. I don't know the answer to that. If you log out of the Zoom and try to come back in, perhaps that will let you do it, but we cannot let you make a statement unless we can see you.
Okay, that's what I do. I go log out and come back in, go to my setting and allow the camera for access.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. While we're waiting, Ms. Kim, if you would proceed.
Sure. Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Rogers, is 29 years old, Your Honor, and the date of offense is actually January 17, 2023, according to the warrant. It's been more than 6 months that it happened long time ago. My client does not recall any of this event, and he denies the allegation. They have lived together, and they still live together, and the apartment is in his name, and he does not want to evict his mother just because this happened 6 months ago, allegedly, which he does not remember or recall. My client says he has 2 jobs. He's working very diligently. He works at FedEx and Lowe's, and he graduated from high school. He has enough credit for associate degree, and he also is not qualified for public defender's services. And my client I would like to recommend him for signature on bond. He had no violence history, Your Honor. And I would like to request for no further violent contact for the sake of his mother. Thank you.
Okay. Did Ms. Strickland figure it out and come back?
Not yet, Your Honor.
We're gonna give her a very brief moment to try to figure that out. Okay. We attempted to contact Ms. Strickland. We will give her another moment when we review the calendar. Because I cannot hear from her at this time, defendant will receive a $3,500 surety bond. He's to have no contact with Ms. Strickland and stay away from that location on Bell Street. He can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items that he may have had at that location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. If she's able to log on during the calendar reconciliation, I will hear from her. In the meantime, Ms. Bridgewater, will you please review the calendar?
Yes, ma'am, I will. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is August the 10th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 3 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 4, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 5 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 6, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,500 good bond. Position 8, SAP calendar with a $5,000 good bond. Position 9, SAP calendar with a $3,500 good bond. Position 10 is reset further notice with a $4,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. 11 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 12 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,500 good bond. And position 13 is reset further notice with a total $6,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
All right, Ms. Strickland, we see you. Are you able to turn on your camera? Ms. Strickland, are you able to hear me?
Okay, I'm on here now.
We have to be able to see you.
I don't know why it's not allowing. Okay. Okay. I don't, it's, and I just turned my camera on in the privacy settings. I just did. Oh, shucks. Good. I'm trying to do it. I went in there and did it through the settings. For some reason, it's not doing. I guess. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna. Okay. I'm on my settings. I'm trying to get it.
Ms. Strickland, we're only gonna be able to give you 2 more minutes. At that time, the court is not gonna be able to wait any longer, okay? Are there any other comments, changes, corrections, questions, or otherwise?
For me?
No, for the other parties here. And we're giving you 2 minutes to figure it out.
I'm trying, Lord Jesus.
The only question I have, Miss Amelia James, who is the alleged victim for Mr. Mitchell, position 5. You granted a signature bond. She is now here I would ask,
Finally got, dang.
is there any way that she can address the court? She stated that she has told me through direct message that she would like to speak. Well, she told me that she is here for that case. I'm sorry.
Understand like this.
Hey,
I
Judge,
sounded for Ms. James at that time, and we moved on through the calendar. Ms. James, very quickly, please turn on your camera and raise your right hand. All right. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to tell me?
Yes, ma'am. I was just unsure of all the charges. And also I was just letting you know that we are still currently in a relationship. We have 3 beautiful kids together. We don't have any issues. You know, we have a little argument here and there or whatever, but we don't have issues like that. I feel like he's being stereotyped is to say in a way, being that our history.
Ms. Bridgewater, what was the bond for this one?
Position number 5, $5,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. So you did give him a signature bond.
Okay, bond, I'm not gonna change the bond conditions at this time. All right, thank you, Ms. James. I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement.
Thank you.
All right, is Ms. Strickland able to figure this out?
Apparently not, Judge.
She's logging back on at this time, Judge.
All right, Ms. Strickland, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell the court at this time?
I couldn't understand that last part.
What would you like to tell the court?
About my son. Actually, I didn't press any charges on my son. It just came, the officer, when he called me, he said that somehow the state or something had picked up the charges, but I never, on that date, me and him, both of us, we just had a family incident that happened between the both of us. And the reason why I actually went to the hospital is because I'm older and my blood pressure has shot up. And I didn't have any bruises. I do chemical pills, and I had just did a chemical pill.
Okay, one question, Miss. I'm gonna ask you just to limit your statement and just tell me, do you wish to have contact with the defendant? And do you have any concerns for your and do you have any concerns for your safety?
No, ma'am, I don't have any concerns for my safety. Actually, I'm the one that brought my son up there to get everything rectified.
Okay, anything further from the state of the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it'll be a $3,500 surety bond, as I already said, but it will be no further violent contact with the alleged victim. All right, is there anything further at this point?
No, so we can have contact with each other. Me and my
Please speak to the attorney and who will give you further instructions. All right, we will now be in recess. We have completed the entire SEA calendar. Take care, everyone, and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Your Honor. Goodbye, everybody.